at some random newsroom. A 20-year All Might fan, just as hardcore as Midoriya, broke down crying rewatching All Might's final battle. But the chief editor chewed him out for slacking off instead of working. Why's the boss so grumpy today, huh? Another staffer behind him also got roasted for failing to dig up any news about All Might. The police were keeping everything under wraps. But she didn't care. Results are all that matter. How you get there, who cares? Right then, reporter Tane Tokuda burst in with some major news. Yo, you guys prefer Tane or Tokuda? I'm Team Tokuda. He found something big from Fat Gum. Turns out All Might's last finger point wasn't a threat to the villains. If you think about it. 4 months ago, he suddenly became a teacher at UA. Guess he'd already hit his limit. And at your turn line, it means All Might's looking for someone from the next generation to carry his torch. Tokuda's bet is on Togata. He's the standout kid and super close with All Might's former assistant. But there's zero proof they've ever connected, so who knows? So Tokuda shifted focus to Class A, the first years All Might's been training. Of course, this info's top secret. Only their paper knows. So yeah, get to work, people. And just like that, the interview news quickly reached Class A. Everyone was hyped, trying to look picture perfect for the shoot. Except Minoru, who only cared if the reporter was a cute girl. Because, obviously, female reporters are usually pretty. Hot looks, great figure, but this poor dude only ends up getting shut down by the homeroom teacher every time. Tokuda, waiting outside, got too impatient and just walked in. It was already interview time anyway, so Ozawa didn't stop him. He just left everything to the class rep. Call me if anything happens, he said. But Ida was so serious. Tokuda just wanted to skip him fast. Alright, the interview starts now. It's more like a day in the life shoot, so just act natural, people. What time is it? Time for photos, Dad? Let's run through all 20 names in Class A one more time. Number 1, Suga, aka Belly Button Laser. Number 2, Asido. Number 3, Hisui. Number 4, Ida. Number 5, Uraraka. 6, Uyuro. 7, Denki. 8, Hiroshima. 9, Koda. 10, Sato. 11, Shoji. 12, Jiro. 13, Sero. 14, Fumi. 15, Shoto. 16, Toru. 17, Bakugo. 18, Midoriya. 19, the Battle God Minoru. And finally, 20, Momo. After checking everyone closely, Tokuda managed to rule out quite a few. First off, eliminate the 6 who made it past the semifinals. Bakugo's already strong enough to be a pro hero. Plus, he said back in middle school he'd surpass All Might, so he's off the list first. Shoto's Endeavor's kid, so yeah, he's out too. The rest were all pretty evenly matched. But with a pro reporter's gut like his, Tokuda could only think of one name. Right then, All Might came back from a convenience store, carrying a bunch of buns gifted by a fan shop owner. Too many to finish alone, so he shared them with the whole class. He placed a hand on Midoriya's shoulder and said, "It's your turn now, starting tomorrow, tough training begins." And the moment he left, Tokuda popped out of nowhere. He told Midoriya he'd been a 20-year All Might fan too. Ever since All Might saved his dad during that factory bombing years ago. Everyone else had given up because the fire was too intense, but not All Might. He literally brought light back into what felt like a shattered life. Because of that, Tokuda's really worried now that All Might's retired. He showed Midoriya the photo he took earlier, and flexed his quirk a little. Tokuda can create camera lenses anywhere he wants. Instant snapshots on demand. Yeah, born for the job, he added. While investigating, I kept my eye on your quirk. Putting all the clues together, you're definitely All Might's successor. Of course, it was just his theory, no proof. And he promised not to publish it. But he said he was happy to see a ray of hope in such a dark time. Before leaving, he snapped a quick photo. And just like that, he was gone, no trace. True to his word, Tokuda kept Midoriya's secret. He only sent the paper one picture, All Might happily eating buns. That evening, Midoriya called Gran Torino to ask if he was taking any interns. But the old man was swamped. No room for students. Instead, he suggested a perfect alternative. All Might's former sidekick. All Midoriya had to do was ask his mentor. As night fell, A big-shot gangster rolled up to the League of Villains' current hideout to meet Tomura. He came because he'd heard that his idol, All for One, was still alive. The Dark Emperor, ruler of the underworld. His whole generation saw All for One as a legend. Watching him get smacked down by All Might on live TV, then thrown into the most infamous prison ever. Yeah, that stung. Basically, the villains didn't have a leader anymore. Tomura could tell right away this guy came here to challenge him. And to make it worse, the guy insulted him for not knowing how to manage his crew. He called out the hero killer and their top members for getting caught by police. He bragged that if he took charge, every battle would be a win. Smooth plans, flawless strategy. But that meant he wanted to be the boss. Tomura's temper hit the roof. He charged straight at Chisaki. He thought this gangster was all talk anyway. But the moment Chisaki touched him, boom, dude exploded. The magician thought he could do better, jumped in, and yeah, bad move. One arm gone in the blink of an eye. Tomura seized the moment and went in fast. But he only took out Chisaki's disposable pawn. Chisaki's crew rushed in to back their boss. Yet Chisaki called it off before there were more pointless casualties. He left a business card in case Tomura changed his mind, then walked out. Surprisingly, the once hot-headed Tomura actually kept his cool. He did not charge in swinging. He chose to wait. Next morning, Mr. Ozawa announced the upcoming internships. After a staff meeting, most teachers felt first years should not go. Bakugo was thrilled hearing that, since there was a chance he would not get to join. But life be like that. The meeting said one thing, and the final decision was to let first years intern at top agencies in Japan. After class, Midoriya rushed to All Might, asking for a recommendation to Naitai. He got a no. All Might explains that, first years do not need to go right now. Second, he should lock in his kicks before joining. Lastly, Naitai is hard to talk to for personal reasons. Even so, Midoriya still wanted it. He believed working with Naitai would let him measure himself against All Might. He had to become many times stronger. That was the impatience of a successor. All Might stayed firm. No means no. But there was another way. Togata was summoned to All Might's office for something urgent. 1 minute 30 seconds later, he was there, sipping tea. The reason All Might called him. He was currently interning under Naitai. If nothing changed, after graduation he would become Naitai's sidekick. All Might wanted Togata to put in a word so Midoriya could learn there. Togata agreed. But first Midoriya had to answer. What kind of hero do you want to be? He did not overthink it and answered right away. I want to save people with a smile. Then he realized that was the wrong mindset. Had his mom not cried from worrying about him? Midoriya switched his answer. I want to be strong enough that no one has to worry about me. I want to become the greatest hero. An ambitious answer from a first year. Togata loved it, so he sealed the deal on the spot. Next morning, Bakugo and Shoto headed out for remedial classes to get their hero licenses. Midoriya stood at Naitai's agency with Togata. He froze up whenever he remembered that stern look on TV. But Togata said it was the total opposite. Behind that strict persona is a certified clown. So if you want him, make him laugh at least once. And yeah, proof time. The moment they step into the office, they see Naitai torturing. Ruthlessly tickling his subordinate. All because she gave a report without cracking a single joke. Sensing danger, Midoriya went all in. Ultimate move time. He pulled the face he'd practiced hundreds of times and said, I'm Midoriya, All Might's junior. I'll take you on alone. He thought that'd make Naitai laugh. Nope. Naitai was furious. How dare this kid smear All Might's dignity like that? Knowing full well Naitai was All Might's former sidekick and still pulling that, yeah, risky move. All Might's wrinkles don't look like that. He snapped. Normally they're around 0.6 centimeters by his eyes. In battle, more like 0.8. Now Midoriya noticed something. The whole office was covered with All Might pictures. Even a rare 10-year anniversary rug you can't buy anywhere. No mistake about it. This guy was clearly a 20-year All Might fan. Midoriya tried to back it up with a story about the river incident. A middle schooler who could change water quality fell into the river. All Might rushed in to save him instantly. In panic, the kid turned the water into vinegar. So All Might's face ended up smelling like pickles. That awkward smile stuck in Midoriya's memory, so he used that expression. Of course, Nightai knew that story. He'd even seen it on Jomuji TV's Looking Back at the Past show. But since Midoriya told it a bit dramatically, Nightai thought he was being mocked. While the two were arguing, Togata jumped in to save the poor girl. He figured Midoriya had a solid chance of being accepted. The first impression was not bad. After some back and forth, Nightai finally understood the situation. One stamp of approval, and Midoriya could officially start his internship. But he warned him, this internship won't be a normal one. He'd need to be ready anytime, anywhere. And yeah, no pay for the whole month. Plus, he'd be missing a ton of classes. Midoriya still chose to stay. No hesitation. Nightai sighed, said nothing more, and reached for the stamp. But instead of the form, he slammed it onto the desk. He wanted to know what benefit taking Midoriya in would bring. What can you contribute to society? All Might proved himself through power and humor. So you'd better show me something, even a little. I'll give you 3 minutes to prove it with action. Talk is cheap. I can do that too. In those 3 minutes, take this stamp from my hand. Fail, and you lose your chance. He told the two onlookers to scram so he could get serious. Once the only audience was gone, the battle officially began. Midoriya powered up, one for all, full body. He went full speed so Nightai couldn't react. But Nightai already knew exactly how he'd move, where he'd start, which direction he'd strike from, everything. He dodged every attack like it was child's play. He even predicted that after 1 minute, Midoriya would start backing off, feeling nervous. Thanks to his foresight quirk. Once Nightai touches someone and looks them in the eyes, he can see all their choices for the next hour. He told Midoriya straight up, "You're way too ordinary. All Might should have picked Togata to inherit one for all." Yeah, that one hit a nerve. There's no way Midoriya could stand hearing that. Those words from that day, that he would become a hero, echoed in his head as he powered up. He had to prove All Might's choice was right. He bounced around just like Gran Torino. Of course, Nightai still dodged with ease. Dude was like Gran Torino light. While dodging, he kept throwing sharp words to mess with Midoriya's focus. But Midoriya tuned him out and kept pushing forward. He sprinted to a bookshelf and hurled it straight at Nightai. Then, he picked the perfect angle and leapt from behind. His plan, aimed straight for Nightai's blind spot. But even that couldn't change what Nightai had already foreseen. Midoriya lost his footing and face-planted into the wall. 3 minutes up, the match was over. Midoriya admitted defeat, not from exhaustion, but from choice. He didn't want to dirty anything in the room related to All Might. And that was exactly what Nightai wanted to see. He flipped instantly and changed his mind. He handed Midoriya the stamp and let him decide for himself. Of course, Midoriya stamped it right away. No way he'd pass that up. When everyone heard Nightai accepted him, they were all jealous. No other pro hero even dared take a first-year intern. Right then, Mr. Ozawa walked in with news. Fumi got invited to train under a top 3 hero. Kirishima got called by Amajiki, a 3rd year. Uraraka and Asui were invited by Hado, also from the 3rd years. Everyone was hyped, except Minoru. He'd been traumatized by his last internship, totally done. The next day marked Midoriya's first day of training. His mission, keep tabs on Chisaki. Lately, that guy's been acting weird, especially contacting the League of Villains. So Midoriya and Togata went out on patrol. But the whole time, Midoriya couldn't stop thinking, why didn't All Might tell him anything? What really happened between All Might and Nightai? Lost in thought, Togata suddenly asked what his hero name was. And yeah, he was surprised when he heard Deku, which literally means idiot. But since that was Midoriya's choice, he didn't question it. The two kept patrolling when, out of nowhere, a little girl ran from an alley and crashed into Midoriya. When he touched her, he felt how hard she was shaking. Behind her came a face you could never mistake. Chisaki stepped out and called her back. Midoriya's expression showed pure unease and fear. Togata quickly helped him put on his mask. He acted exactly like a hero on routine patrol. No hostility at all. He chatted a few lines, then excused them right away. They could not let Nightai's name slip. But the girl pleaded to Midoriya with the saddest face. How could they just leave? Midoriya asked softly. What is happening between you and this child? A kid trembling this much is not just being scolded. Chisaki calmly invited them deeper into the alley to explain. He rambled that his daughter kept talking back to her parents. While talking, he signaled to her, "Come here now, or else." Terrified, the girl ran to Chisaki and obediently followed him home. Midoriya could only watch helplessly as the child who begged him left. A while later, Chisaki returned to base, fuming. Anyone who talked too much got punished without mercy. Meanwhile, Midoriya and Togata called Naitai to report what happened. Togata believed they had a new lead, the girl Chisaki called his daughter. Midoriya described Eri's state when he met her. If there was any way to protect her, he would do it no matter what. Naitai immediately corrected him. Haste makes waste. If we rush, they will slip away. You cannot save someone by will alone. We need time. So your work for today is over. The first day of the internship left a heavy, suffocating feeling. It gnawed at Midoriya's mind, and he could not stop thinking about it. Meanwhile, on Chisaki's side, he received a call from Tamura. Looked like a big job was coming. Next morning, the demon Bakugo and Shoto got smashed by remedial hero class. Midoriya stayed gloomy, yesterday's scene looping in his head. He could not focus at all that day. So after class, he went to All Might to get the full story. Knowing All Might was jogging in the woods, he rushed over. He wanted to know why Naitai knew about One for All, and why All Might chose him instead of giving One for All to Togata. If you will not tell me now, I might as well die to please you. I do not get why you kept it secret. As the successor, I want to know everything. All Might had his reasons for keeping quiet, but since Midoriya insisted, he was willing to answer. Naitai had been a devoted fan for a very long time. He accepted him as his sidekick, and they worked together for 5 years. The two were really close, until 6 years ago. That was right after All Might's life or death fight with All for One. His body was weak, ready to collapse at any moment. Naitai told him to retire, that he had already done enough. You're already a legend. Pushing more will just kill you for nothing, he said. They promised that Naitai wouldn't use his foresight on him. But in the end, he was forced to do it anyway. He saw a future where someone else would replace All Might as the new symbol of peace. And if All Might kept fighting, death would surely come for him. Even so, All Might chose to keep smiling and keep saving people. He wanted to protect peace no matter what. From then on, they went their separate ways. As for Togata, All Might was just lucky to meet Midoriya first. Otherwise, well, you can guess. Hearing that All Might die left Midoriya shaken. He ran after him, asking how far Naitai's foresight could see into the future. According to All Might, about 6 to 7 years. The farther it goes, the less accurate it gets. But so far, Naitai had never been wrong. That only made Midoriya even more determined. He promised All Might that no matter what happened, they'd change fate together. That night, villains suddenly started wreaking havoc in the city. Heroes arrived on the scene right away. Leading the charge was Hado. One spiral blast, and the bad guys went flying. Uraraka and Asui teamed up for a rain of ice that knocked the rest out cold. A top 10 pro hero below them praised all 3 girls non-stop. She was impressed that Hado brought along to first years with such skill. Then she shared some news. They'd soon be teaming up with Naitai, All Might's former sidekick. Their next mission, investigate the criminal group led by Chisaki. Meanwhile, at the Shihisakai base, Tomura arrived to discuss their upcoming partnership. He sat down, threw a leg on the table, and said, "You want the league's name. I want more power. We've got the same goal, so let's keep this fair. We won't bow to you. We'll act on our own terms. In other words, we'll cooperate, but you're not our leader." And he wanted to know Chisaki's secret plan before agreeing to anything. Chisaki's men didn't like his attitude and aimed their guns straight at him. Tomura stayed calm and reminded them, "You still owe me for Magnus' death and Compress's lost arm. If we can't reach a deal, we're done here." Chisaki agreed to wait and see what Tomura planned to do next. Elsewhere, Kirishima was on patrol with Amajiki and hero Fat Gum. Fat Gum never takes interns, but he made an exception for Kirishima. They were chatting happily when they saw robbers being chased up ahead. Out of nowhere, Fat Gum appeared in front and trapped them in his body fat. Amajiki fired out octopus tentacles to finish off the rest. At first, you'd think his quirk was turning into a tick. But nope, Amajiki's quirk is mimicry. He can copy traits from whatever he eats. Chicken, pork, bird, fish, you name it. The crowd quickly gathered, cheering for the heroes after that awesome performance. But right then, one of the robbers' buddies was still hiding in the crowd. He pulled out a gun, aimed straight at Amajiki, and fired. Kirishima dashed in just in time, deflecting the bullet with his quirk. According to Chisaki, that bullet was special. It could temporarily erase a person's quirk, just like Izawa's erasure power. Right after shooting, the guy tossed his gun and bolted. Amajiki was confused. He did not even get hit, yet his quirk was gone. Kirishima swore he would catch that guy no matter what. A real man does not shoot and run. That's just weak. Kirishima punched him square in the face, sending him rolling 10 times across the ground. The guy started crying, calling himself useless. Kirishima even felt bad and tried to comfort him. But the more he comforted, the worse the guy looked. He pulled out a syringe and jabbed it into his neck. Yeah, once he juiced up, his power spiked for sure. Kirishima knew he could not win like this, but he still stood firm. Civilians were watching. Even his hardened skin could not block all those hits. At that moment, he remembered Bakugo's words. You're a war horse. When it's time to fight, you charge, not run. So now, he had to harden, both body and spirit. A new form was born, the Crimson Right armor. The villain's steel blades were nothing but cheap metal against that armor. Even thousands of strikes at one spot would not break through. One punch shattered everything, and the second sealed the deal. Just as his armor's time limit ran out, the villain went back to that same pitiful, crying face. He whined a bit more, then tried to slip away. But before he could, Fat Gum showed up and hugged him into submission. Fat Gum's quirk absorbs everything. Nothing escapes his blubber trap. Civilians came over, thanking Kirishima for his bravery. Kirishima got emotional and bowed deeply in thanks. Next morning, he was on the front page, admired by everyone. Bakugo was salty as ever for falling behind again. Uraraka and Asui also made headlines in a top paper. Midoriya, though, could not stop thinking about Eri trembling and begging for help. Luckily, 2 weeks later, Nightai called him in for an assignment. Coincidentally, Kirishima got summoned too. And by chance, Uraraka and Asui as well. All four ended up heading the same way. Same train, same route, same destination. No way that was all coincidence. Clearly, they were meant to be in one place. Everyone inside that building was a pro hero. Gran Torino was there, Mr. Izawa too, plus a bunch of familiar heroes. From top brass to local specialists, the room was packed. Seeing everyone gathered, Nightai stepped up to start the meeting. Topic: What the Shy Group is plotting. According to his agency's investigation, the gang pulled off a string of cash robberies over the past 2 weeks. Jack added more intel. Shy members have been reaching out to outsiders beyond their circle. The peak was when they contacted the League of Villains. Seems like there was some kind of clash. Asui suspected their main income was illegal drug trafficking. Fat Gum spoke up. He'd busted plenty of drug smugglers before. But Amajiki got shot by a type of bullet he had never seen. A drug that erased quirks. Amajiki had recovered part of his power by now, so they could conclude it was not permanent. Speaking of erasing quirks, Izawa explained, he does not destroy powers directly. He just pauses them for a while. Thanks to Kirishima's brave move, the police recovered one bullet with the drug still inside. After analysis, the findings gave everyone chills. Even Fat Gum felt sick. That drug contained human blood and cells. Nightai put Chisaki's face on the screen to make it clear. The Shy Boss has the power to disassemble and restore matter. Disassembly lets him break and repair objects, meaning those erasure bullets are his product. The two heroes who met him earlier remembered the scene. That girl, Eri, is very likely the source of the erasing power. Kirishima still did not follow what they meant, so they explained again for him to get it. Nightai suspects that creep Chisaki is turning his daughter's body into bullets. They do not know yet if they have made a bullet that erases a quirk completely. But the way he is gathering people and funds nationwide shows they are in the testing phase. Night took full responsibility for what happened to his two heroes. Do not blame the kids. They tried to save her. Midoriya took the risk to rescue the girl, while Togata decided to act only when their odds were better. Both stood up and vowed, this time, they would save Eri. From Night's intel, there were many suspected locations across the country where Eri might be held. He wanted everyone to check each one and narrow the list as much as possible. Fat Gum pushed back. Too time-consuming. Izawa asked why Night did not just use his foresight on everyone here. Night wanted to, but he could not. His foresight needs a gap of 24 hours between activations, and it only shows 1 hour of someone's future. Imagine a whole life squeezed into 1 hour. That is scarier than a movie recap. And the real reason he would not do it, what if he saw that person die in the near future? In short, he just couldn't. He stayed quiet, taking in everyone's criticism. After the meeting, Midoriya told the others about when he and Togata met Chisaki. Togata's been down ever since, blaming himself for that bad call. Right then, Izawa walked in to announce the internships were over. The League of Villains might show up. Too risky for students to stay involved. But he knew Midoriya would sneak off to save Eri no matter what. So instead, he said, I'll be watching you. If you're gonna do this, do it the right way. Meanwhile, over at the Shy base, a blonde black-haired guy came to check on Eri, not in a nice way. But Eri remembered how warm the green-haired hero's hands were, nothing like that monster's. A few days later, heroes started scouting every location on the list. No one could act without an official order, especially students. They were forbidden from mentioning any of it. Like Izawa said yesterday, the only goal this time is to rescue Eri. Nothing else matters. The police confirmed the League of Villains isn't working with Shy. But if things go south, the students must pull out immediately. During lunch, Midoriya couldn't eat. His mind kept looping over Eri. Was she okay? Were they hurting her? Did they take more from her? His face said it all, making Shoto and Ida worry. Ida just said softly, if something's wrong, tell me. The same words Midoriya once said to him. Tears fell, but this wasn't game over. He was just really moved, that's all. He couldn't tell them any details, but he truly appreciated Ida's kindness. Meanwhile, heroes were investigating every corner of their assigned areas. To narrow the list as much as possible, they needed a lot of pros working at once. Soon enough, half the list was cleared. Gran Torino decided to dig deep into the rest for maximum accuracy. 2 nights later, past midnight, Midoriya got a call from Night. Of course, everyone else got a call from their pro mentors too. The next morning, they all regrouped at the same place to hear Night's report. Using a Princess Toe box of all things, Night pinpointed exactly where Eri was being held. Sounds wild, but it's true. Yesterday afternoon, he tailed a Shy member all the way to a toy store. That guy didn't seem like the type to have weird hobbies. The way he asked about toys made it obvious he was buying them for Eri. By recommending him the latest popular set, Night got close enough to use his foresight on him. Just as he thought, the guy was a core Shy member, and Eri was being held in an underground base. Hearing that, Togata snapped out of it, fired up and ready to go. This time, he and Midoriya had one mission they had to complete. This time, they're determined to save Eri no matter what. Gonna end the video here. See y'all in the part to recap.